There's a sentence near the beginning of the Exodus reading tonight that changes everything. Now, a king arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph. He did not know the story. He did not remember how Joseph had once helped save Egypt. He didn't remember the relationship that existed between their peoples. When we forget the story, it becomes much easier to become afraid of one another. Pharaoh looks at the Israelites and says, they're becoming too numerous. They're becoming too powerful. What if something happens? What if they turn against us? Nothing has happened yet. The Israelites have not attacked anybody. Pharaoh is responding to something he is afraid might happen. And fear becomes his teacher. Fear teaches him to see neighbors as threats. Then fear becomes policy. Policy becomes oppression. Oppression becomes violence. And eventually Pharaoh tells an entire nation that throwing somebody else's children into a river is simply what must be done to keep everyone safe. That's how trauma gets created. When I use the word demonic, this is what I mean. I don't mean some mythical creatures hiding in the shadows, leaping person to person, taking forced possession of people, making them do bad things. I mean anything that systematically tears apart what God desires to make whole. Anything that teaches human beings to fear one another. Anything that strips anyone of their human dignity. Anything that convinces us somebody else's suffering is necessary for our own security and safety. Anything that wounds the image of God within another person, that is demonic. And Pharaoh isn't the only one that was capable of it. We create categories to fear and push away all the time. Those criminal aliens, those addicts, those mentally ill people, those dysfunctional families, those people who have been put in jail, those gay or transgendered people, those kids with behavior problems, those broken people. And before long, the categories become more important than the people and the person. That is what fear does. And sometimes, even the church becomes afraid. What will people think about us? What if we become known as that church? What if we become known as the church where people struggling with addiction comes? The church where people with mental health challenges feel safe. The church where teenagers with questions can belong. The church where people carrying complicated stories discover that they don't have to hide. What if people hear about that and decide they don't want to come? And I wonder whether underneath that fear is an old question Pharaoh already taught us. What happens to us if there are too many of them? But in his letter to the Romans, Paul tells the church, do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. In other words, be careful who is teaching you how to see.